Welcome to Chaska High School for high school football tonight. From Chaska High School, it's the Hawks and the visiting Apple Valley Eagles here on a beautiful Friday night, first week in November, and it's 68 degrees. Want to welcome you inside our broadcast booth now. I'm Ryan Paul, joined tonight by my partner Mike Schmid. Mike, got a great matchup tonight. The Hawks are are coming off their first back-to-back loss streak since 2011.
Yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks here, Ryan. Hopefully we can get back on track here against Apple Valley, who's had their own struggles. I look for the Hawks to hopefully bounce back in a big way here tonight.
Rome Team Real Estate keys to the game tonight. It's going to be the first key is going to be an early start on offense for Chaska.
Yeah, I'd expect them to get out and be really aggressive. We haven't really scored very well in the first half. It's been more of a we've come out just kind of trying to feel out the other team, as favorites typically do. And I'd expect them to get a little bit more aggressive here, and I'd expect that approach for the rest of the year.
Well, we've been critical of Chaska the last couple weeks. They've had some opportunities to take some shots, maybe haven't over the last couple weeks, and it could have cost them. Obviously, last week didn't get any help from the officiating in Chanhassen game. Should have had a chance to come down and win the game, but Chanhassen ended up walking away in that one.
Yeah, with a rivalry game, that's always a tough one to deal with. You don't want to go in there and have the officials basically, dictate the game. They did a good job of fighting, and I liked a lot of the stuff that I saw on the field. And hopefully we can kind of, get that taste out of our mouth and move forward, Ryan.
Second key to the game here on the Rome Team Real Estate keys to the game, it's going to be the linebackers tonight that need to step up big for Chaska.
Yeah, Apple Valley runs a really simplistic offense. They've got a lot of size up front, and they like to use that size. So, a lot of what they do is generated in the run game. They've only scored in one of their 4 games so far this year, and that was against Jefferson, who's having a kind of a down year. So a lot of what they do is they use a lot of, wide receiver motion to get the guys out, and they use that to try to run the ball up the middle. A lot of power run game, so our linebackers are going to have to come up big and handle that motion.
Third key to the game tonight, Chaska, we talked about it. They need to dominate Apple Valley tonight. This is a game that Chaska should be able to win. It's going to come down to if they can pull it off tonight.
Yeah, talking with a couple of coaches before the game, I talked with Adam Wolf, wide receivers coach. He really said, we got to come out and just set the tempo. This is a game that they should be able to take advantage of. They should be able to get their seniors some big numbers and get some extra bodies in, hopefully in the second half, and I would expect to see it.
He's Mike Schmidt. I'm Ryan Paul, a couple of Chaska alums here with you. Last regular season home game from Chaska High School. Hawks travel to Bloomington Jefferson next week before section playoffs begin. Should Chaska get a home game, we will plan on broadcasting those games here on watchchbn.com. Mike, after the Rome Team Real Estate keys to the game, it's rometeamrealestate.com, Emily and Jan. What are your expectations for tonight's battle with the Apple Valley and Chaska?
Yeah, watching some of the Apple Valley film, the first thing that you notice is their size. They have a lot of big bodies up front, but on the the back half of their defense, they are definitely vulnerable. They're a little undersized on the back half. They like to run 4 deep with their corners and safety, so I'd expect Chaska to take advantage of that with the short passing game, get the ball out of Matty Paul's hands early, and get it into our playmakers' hands, and just let them go and do what they do.
That's it from us up here in the booth. Again, Ryan Paul, Mike Schmidt. We will send it down to the field now, where Chaska and Apple Valley are getting ready to kick things off here on this beautiful Friday night. 70 degrees and light wind out of the south, and it is going to be a good one. They just put some time back on the clock, so it might be a couple more minutes before we get going, Mike. We talked about the upcoming schedule for Chaska. Chaska currently kind of right in the middle of the Section 2-5A rankings. They would get a home game if the season ended today.
Yeah, hopefully we can, the last 2 games of the year we should be able to take advantage of. Bloomington Jefferson just lost Apple Valley 16-0, I believe it was last week. And Jefferson's really struggled. Like I said, Valley struggled as well. So hopefully we can take advantage of 2 softer games at the end of the season and earn a home game going into sections.
Chaska currently sitting at 2-2, as I mentioned prior to our show tonight, or just when we got started with our show tonight. It's the first time that Chaska has lost back-to-back games since September of 2011, Mike. And that last week against Chanhassen was the first time the Hawks allowed 25 points since 2 years ago.
We talked about it early in the year, how the offense might have to be a little bit more aggressive just because we wouldn't have the same defense coming back. Steve O'Klotz isn't out there making sacks in the backfield and tackles all over the place. So we knew that the defense was going to, with 11 new starters, I believe it was, we knew that they were going to have to score a few more points, and we haven't been able to do it so far, and that's kind of been their Achilles heel, is the slow starts to the game and then just not being able to finish on drives on defense.
We want to note that Chaska Athletic Director John Summer will be joining us at halftime tonight, so stick around at halftime. He's going to address the state of the athletics and activities department, and we will hear from Chaska AD John Summer at halftime tonight of this game as we tear down our camera here. That's the noise you're hearing in the background. From Chaska High School, we get ready to kick things off here on as I said, a beautiful Friday night. Carver Miller is deep to receive for Chaska as the Chaska Hawks and Apple Valley Eagles get ready to battle here on Friday night. Lamb the boot deep, and it's going to be Miller from the 13-yard line who catches and runs up all the way to the 30. Miller fumbles the ball at the 35. Luckily, it trickles out of bounds at the 40, but the Hawks will take over there, 1st and 10.
Nice return there by Carver Miller. He hit, bobbled the ball a little bit there towards the end. It's been a little. We had a fumble early in last game too, so it's nice that we got the break there to ball bouncing out of the field of play. Chaska getting able to take over, and hopefully we can start fresh and start hot here, Ryan.
Matthew Paul, the senior quarterback, number 15, trots out on the field for Chaska, making his 5th start of the season. He had a career game in Chanhassen a week ago tonight. 12 for 25, 235, and 2 touchdowns for the Chaska Hawks senior. There's a slight delay on the field here as the officials are looking at something on the turf, I believe. It looks like one of the hash marks might be slipping up. And I think we are now ready for play. This Chaska turf, Mike, we could use a replacing, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, we played on it last night. There's definitely a few soft spots.
Carver Miller in motion. Handoff is to the senior DeWandis Yeomans up the middle. Yeomans a hard ground gain of 10, and Chaska is going to be just short of that first down line to gain on the first play from scrimmage.
And there's Yeomans again, turning the ball up the middle, just driving, using his power, using his size, falling forward, gaining a good 9 yards. 9 yards.
So 2nd and inches here for Chaska, approaching their second play from scrimmage. Nick Snuggerud will split out wide to the left, and Ethan Bachman on the near side. Bachman has 2 touchdowns on the season, had a phenomenal one-handed touchdown grab last week in that game against Chanhassen. Paul, shotgun snap once again. Yeoman's back up the middle. He's good enough for the first down after getting contacted behind the line of scrimmage, but the Hawks will move the chains here. DeWandis Yeomans 2 carries for 12 yards.
Falling forward for the first down again, like we said. One thing that I noticed on that play that was just great to see is Hunter Brackey being back out there. I know he was back out for the Chanhassen game, but it's his first home game for the senior who lost his father over the summer. He just drove his man about 4 yards downfield. Watch for him to have a huge impact tonight. He's
a guy that we really would have loved to see the first 3 games of the season, and Hunter Brackey definitely, Mike, as you and I both know, a big part of this Chaska offense. Pitch left to Nick Snuggerud. He dances around behind the line of scrimmage before he's finally strung down at the 45. So
Ryan, that outside game is going to be there for them. Like I said, Chaska's athletes in the skill positions they're superior to Apple Valley's. So I'd expect them to try to get the ball in space with Nick Snuggerud, Ethan Bachman, Carver Miller, whoever it may be, so they can go out and make a play.
Snuggerud committed to the University of St. Thomas, 5 catches for 135 and a touchdown against Robbinsdale Armstrong in the second game of the season. Had 2 catches for 17 against Chanhassen last week. Paul back in the shotgun has Jack Boyle, the junior, to his right-hand side. Boyle gets the call on this one, and he is up for a gain of 2 or 3 before finally being pushed to the sideline. Mike, Boyle is going to be a tough tackle for this Eagles offense tonight.
Yeah, he's kind of the lightning in the backfield. We've got the Thunder. We've got the Thunder with Yeomans, and then we got the Lightning with Boyle. He's a little bit quicker, but he's still got good size, and he's a tough tackle, like you said.
3rd and manageable. It's going to be about 3rd and 6 or 7 here for Chaska. Maybe a long 5 even. Paul in the shotgun. Bachman near side. Snuggerud wide side. Hawks go hard count. And there's a flag. I think Paul drew him off sides, and he did. Chaska's going to get free 5 yards and make it 3rd and short.
Nice little advantage with the sparse fans in the crowd. You get that, calmer feel out there, and a veteran quarterback like Matty Paul is able to use that hard count to get us into a 3rd-and-1 situation, which is a really big deal for the Hawks because we might be seeing that power offense with Spencer Getz in the backfield now.
You know, in college and professional football, I mean specifically professional football, the hard count is usually something that you do under center. Chaska does not go under center at all in this offense. The Jamie Susner offense. Paul on 3rd and short. Hands off. Boyle up the middle. Boyle breaks through the first line. And Boyle's loose to the 20, to the 10, to the goal line. Jack Boyle for 6.
Yep, there's that lightning that we talked about. He's their big play running back, and that was a great run by Jack Boyle. Nice scamper. Great hole by the offensive line there to open it up. And I don't think he was touched after he broke through the initial line.
4th touchdown carry of the year for Jack Boyle. That one's good for about 40 plus. And Chaska strikes first against this Apple Valley defense.
Yep, it's good to see them get off to a hot start here, Ryan. It's exactly what we talked about. They weren't necessarily hyper-aggressive with that possession, but they were able to get the job done in, 5 plays?
3 minutes in to this football game here on Friday night. Nick Snuggerud in to kick the extra point. Frick to hold, rather. There's a stoppage before the kick can go off, and it looks like it's going to be an infraction on the snap. Dead ball offsides is the call, and they call it on Chaska. So this will – Nope, they change it. It's now against Apple Valley. So this will move the ball halfway they decline it. Brian Dahl signaling to decline the penalty, so we'll just try it again. Jack Frick in to hold Brandon Westover, the snapper, and Nick Snuggerud in to attempt his 13th extra point of the season.
Yeah, Bobby Jackson, number 4 for Apple Valley, got a jump start there.
Kick is up and good. Nick Snuggerud, perfect on the season with the exception of 1 block. You know, Mike, we talked about it a little bit in the pregame. We've alluded to it many times throughout this season so far. Snuggerud, one of the best kickers in the league.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't really had to use him so far this year, but he's definitely a weapon out there. Watching him in the pregame kicking into the wind, he was good from about 40, almost 45, I would say. So, I mean, keep that in mind in case, it comes down to the end of the half and the Hawks need to get points in there. Otherwise, hopefully we can keep putting up touchdowns and we won't need them.
Beautiful night here, as we said. Gusting up to 20 miles an hour, though, from south to north. So Chaska, with the current direction that they have now, will have the wind in their face, but presumably will have the wind at their back in the 4th quarter. So Jack Boyle, the junior, gets his 4th touchdown run of the season, good for 42 yards, and the Hawks have 7 points on the board in their first offensive possession. Snuggerud debuted deep here for Chaska. Mike, exactly the start Chaska was looking for.
Yep, hot start there. Boyle with a great run. Offensive line took care of business. The hard count got us into that 3rd-and-1 situation, so we were able to run a run play. Otherwise, we might have been looking at a pass, and they took advantage of it.
8:56 to go in the first quarter. We are waiting for Nick Snuggerud to boot things deep. Chaska, seniors and juniors tonight playing for the Hawks.
Good scouting job here by Valley to stretch the field. They know that Nick Snuggerud's good at that pooch punt.
Snuggerud with a big boomer. This one is going to be returnable, though, and it's going to be grabbed by Apple Valley from the 10-yard line. The return is up across the 25 before the returner is finally strung down at the 26-yard line. That was number 8, Elijah Beckfield, on the return for the Eagles.
Thought there might have been a block in the back there on Cage Montoya, but the ref kept the flag in his pocket. It was a nice return by Valley. Let's see if the Hawks defense can get back on track here after giving up 25 against Chanhassen, first time doing that in several years. So let's see if, like I said, Apple Valley runs that simplistic offense. They've only scored against Bloomington Jefferson. You're going to see quite a bit of motion, and you're going to see a lot of runs up the middle. Their quarterback, number 6, he's not the greatest. He doesn't have the biggest arm in the world. That's Caleb Scott. So watch a lot of action at the line of scrimmage.
Scott, the senior, 13 for 34 on the year passing, 2 interceptions. Apple Valley dives up the middle on the first play from scrimmage, but they're pushed back a yard. Hawks defense a good stand on the first play from scrimmage.
Yep, there it is again. Hunter Brackey back in the game. Big Coles Weefel manning the nose tonight, and he's been such a weapon for the Hawks in the middle. He just clogs everything up, and you hear the nice little cheer from the crowd there for Cole's first tackle.
Worth noting that Yusuf Hamza, the senior, is out tonight with a leg injury, the usual defensive end on the right side for the Hawks. They will work by committee on that defensive end position. Direct snap, carry off to the to pass off to the right. And it's going to be caught for Apple Valley there. Hayden Hansen, the junior, on the receiving end of that one. Good for about 9.
Good motion there in the backfield by Apple Valley. The fake toss to the left and rolling the quarterback out. Quarterback, like I said, Caleb Scott, he is a little bit undersized. So getting him outside of the pocket that's where he's going to be more effective.
3rd and 2 officially tonight on the Lifetime Fitness Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network. Glad you've joined us. Ryan and Mike here from Chaska High School. On 3rd down, Apple Valley goes up the middle. It looks like the Hawks have the stop. Yep. Could it be? Yes, it looks like they're going to mark him down short. It'll be 4th and inches for Apple Valley.
Yeah, it looks like it's about 4th and 1.5. They didn't give them much of anything at all. They need to get to the 36 to get to first down, and it looks like they're trotting out the punt team.
Special teams unit comes onto the field for Apple Valley, and Reed Mathers comes onto the field for Chaska here as Apple Valley will line up to punt.
Great job on that possession by the 3 seniors on the front line. That was Brackey, Zwiefel, and Martig.
Otheniel Green will punt for Apple Valley. That's number 1 lined up deep. There was some movement on the line. Punt barely gets away, almost blocked by Grant Susner. And Chaska is going to let this punt roll out of bounds at the 35-yard line, and that is where the Hawks will start their second possession. We do want to remind you tonight, folks, Greg Butler from Edina Realty has a special offer for homeowners considering selling their home. Greg is offering a $500 discount or credit at closing for a home warranty system, professional staging, or other home selling technologies to help you sell your home for more money. To add Greg Butler to your home selling team, contact Greg Butler at 952-484-8288. That's 952-484-8288. So Chaska comes out here, second possession of the game. They had a touchdown run from Jack Boyle on the first one. They moved down the field with ease on that first possession, and here comes Matthew Paul back in the shotgun to start things off. Paul looks to pass on this one, has Bachman on the near side. Ball's in the air, and he just overthrew him.
Penalty.
We will get a flag, though, on this one as Bachman.
Beckfield, it looks like, was holding Bachman when the ball was in the air. We should get a pass interference call here. One thing that I've noticed early is that Beckfield is traveling with Bachman, which is a smart play by Apple Valley. We saw how if you watch the Chanhassen game, you saw how effective Bachman was in that game. He's been doing great all year, so traveling your best corner with him is probably the smart move, even if that might not do the trick. You might have to bring a double.
That's something we've seen Ethan Bachman have to deal with all year is after that breakout season last year at wide receiver, we've seen teams really catch on to the fact that he is going to be Chaska's number 1 target this year. So we saw it against Armstrong. We saw it against Orno 2 weeks ago. Ethan Bachman is going to be covered heavily on the perimeter.
Valley's given us a little bit different look than they did with Jefferson, where they ran 4 deep.
Low snap. Paul recovers, gets the handoff up to Yeomans. And Yeomans battles his way up to the 45 and into Apple Valley territory.
Great
Scratches
job.
off half of the yardage gain.
Yep, great job there by Matthew Paul to handle the low snap, get it up in time to get Yeomans the ball, and let him start rumbling forward.
Ball on the 45, Mike. I know you talked to the coaching staff. They want to spread the ball early here. They think this is a game that they should be able to run away with. We'll see how Chaska decides to handle this as the game moves on. Hawks.
Losing to a rival, it's nice to get the bad taste out of your mouth by a big win.
Paul in the shotgun, has 2 in the backfield. This one's to the senior Boyle, and he is close to the sticks. Going to be close. It seems they're going to mark him just short, so it'll be 3rd and maybe a long 1 for Chaska after the DeWandas Yeomans run up the middle.
Yep, Yeomans again, falling forward, gaining those extra yards every time. That's a high-effort play. In this situation, Ryan, you got 3rd and 1. You're probably going to go for it on 4th. I might look to take a shot here.
3rd and 1. Paul has Boyle and Yeomans in the backfield. Handoff once again to Yeomans. It's sniffed out, though, by Noah Freight of Apple Valley, and it's going to be close once again. I think they're going to mark him just short of the line to gain on this one, maybe a half yard.
Yep, here comes the beef. Big Cole Zwiefel's coming in. We're going to see Spencer Getz line up in that Wildcat formation, and we should be able to pound it in.
Zwiefel and Leo Smalley enter the game on the line. Smalley not starting as Hunter Brakey is back now on the starting line. So here comes Leo Smalley, a fresh set of legs for Chaska on the O-line.
Smalley did a great job filling in those first 3 games here for Hunter Brackey. It's a nice job by the sophomore.
4th and about 1.5 feet. This is the heavy formation. We've seen Chaska run it a lot. Spencer gets in the backfield. He gets the first down. He'll get just a couple yards more. Mike, that's something we saw Chaska attempt to run last week, but Chanhassen covered it well. Apple Valley unable to stop it here on the first time we see it tonight.
Yeah, Chanhassen's seen that formation quite a few times out of Chaska in the past, and they came out and they were ready for it. It's tough. Stopping Spencer Getz on a 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 is not an easy task, but they held their own.
Ball at the 36-yard line. Paul back in the game at quarterback. Has Yeomans in the backfield to his right. Now Snuggerud comes on the near side. Hawks flip it. Bachman on the top of your screen. Paul, play action over the middle. He's got Carver Miller there, and he collects at the 25-yard line for the first down. Paul to Carver Miller. We saw that a couple times last week in Chanhassen, Mike, and it's good for a first down.
Yep, that was a great play there. Rolling Matty Paul out to the right, giving him a simple throwing lane to Carver Miller. Right now, Apple Valley's running quite a bit of single man-on-man in the secondary, and we should be able to take advantage of that. Like I said earlier, we do have the athlete advantage on the outside.
3:53 to go. First quarter here from Chaska High School. Snuggerud in motion. Gets the hand. No, it's Paul who keeps it up the middle. Paul gets a couple yards up to the 20-yard line. Brought down right there, however, by Noah Freight.
Matthew Paul, he's not the fastest guy in the world. You know that. But, he is a long strider. It looks like he might only get 1 or 2, but that ends up being a 4-yard rip.
Had a couple knee surgeries young in his high school career, and now finally getting the chance here in his senior year. Number 15 in purple. Hawks 2nd and 6. Pass over the middle once again. Has Getz. Getz striving for the touchdown, but he's going to be brought down just short. The tackle strung out by Elijah Beckfield, but Paul to Getz over the middle. That's not something we've seen a lot this year. Spencer Getz had his first catch of the year last year in Chanhassen, but it's good here inside the red zone for the Hawks and a first down.
It's not something we've seen a lot of, but it's something that I love to see. And hopefully going forward we see a lot more of it. Matthew Paul with a quick look to the left side, throwing a great pass to Spencer Getz, like you said, and he took a little lick at the end, but he got up.
Boyle tucked in behind the tackle here. You got Yeomans next to Paul in the backfield. They're going to give it to Yeomans up the middle. Freight's right there to wrangle him down at the 7-yard line. Noah Freight and Robel Terafi.
Noah Freight, someone that we talked about a little bit before the game. Just watching Apple Valley warm up, he popped out. He's an athlete. You could tell just by the way he handles himself in warm-ups and handles himself, how he moves out on the field. He's one of their leaders, and he's one of their best players.
2nd and goal from the 6. Hawks will keep the standard offense out there. These are situations that sometimes we'll see them put in Spencer Getz at that heavy set quarterback position. 2 in the backfield, Yeomans and Boyle now for Paul to work with. Handoff to Yeomans up the middle, and Yeomans is in. DeWandis Yeomans once again into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the season, and the Hawks take a 2-score lead.
This is more Chaska football. This is what we're accustomed to seeing, imposing their will, getting out early, popping up to a 14-point lead in the first quarter. Now let's see if they press that and take advantage of it with some aggressive defense. And you know what? This is what we wanted, Ryan, right? The last few weeks we've started off kind of slow. We didn't get any points on the board early, so it's great to see the Hawks scoring early.
Snuggerud point after is good, and Mike, this is an Apple Valley team that's given up a lot of points, has only put up 27. They've been shut out 3 times. The only game that they've won, Park of Cottage Grove, a 27-12 victory. Otherwise, they've allowed 34, 17, and 15 in their collective 3 games.
Yeah, like we said, Valley's kind of down. They have been for a few years, and they lost their senior do everything. Their senior do everything last year. He played quarterback. He was their kicker. He played safety and linebacker. So that was a big loss for Valley. I'm slipping on his name right now. But, losing somebody like that, having to come back and, just put the pieces back together. So we're seeing a lot of guys do stuff from Valley that they hadn't done in the past, and that's really costing them right now.
Chaska 14-0. The Hawks are used to score. Last year, I should say, they were used to getting off to quick starts. It's something they've struggled with this year so far, but against this Apple Valley defense, Hawks out to 2 quick starts. It was a DeWandis Yeomans touchdown scamper up the middle. Not before, though, a Jack Boyle run for 40 yards. Snuggerud will line up to kick on this one, as Chaska will give the ball back to Apple Valley here with 2:04 to go in the first quarter.
Looks like they're sending it deep. Hopefully we can pin them.
Snuggerud's kick is going to be pooch, but it'll be caught at the 25 by number 21. That's Caleb Hester. We'll call his name a lot tonight, at least we're supposed to. Hester cuts back at the 45, and he's finally brought down after a return of about 27 yards. Caleb Hester up to the 47, 7-yard line. And Apple Valley will take over with decent field position.
Hester's kind of their version of Nick Snuggerud. He's kind of their gadget player. He does it all for them. You'll see him line up in the slot. You'll see him in the backfield every once in a while. He'll line out wide. He'll also play quite a bit of D-back. Keeping the ball out of his hands would be a big advantage for the Hawks going forward.
Apple Valley back on offense here for the second time tonight. Some miscommunication in the backfield. Caleb Scott, the quarterback, has to keep, and he is back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe a yard or two extra.
Yep, there was that motion that we saw.
Yep.
They like to fake up the middle and then give to the motion, or fake to the motion and then give up the middle. So we'll see that quite a bit. Like I said, it's a pretty simplistic offense that Apple Valley runs. They're not going to take a lot of deep shots.
Last year's Apple Valley quarterback, the name you're looking for, Aiden Lamp.
Thank you.
743 yards through the air, courtesy of the Minnesota Football Hub Star Tribune. 2nd and 9. Scott under center. Throws near side. It's intercepted by Zach Schaefer. Schaefer has a hole. Schaefer to the 30. Schaefer to the 20, and it's a house call. Zach Schaefer crosses the pylon, and it's a pick 6 for the Hawks.
That's exactly what we talked about, Ryan. They're looking to get the ball into Caleb Hester's hands, but their quarterback, like we said, he doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. He's not the biggest kid. Slight overthrow there, maybe trying to get it over the Chaska defensive line in a tip pick 6 for Schaefer.
Schaefer's second pick of the season, his first pick 6 of the year, and with 1 minute and 5 seconds left, Apple Valley had 2 offensive plays, and they allowed Chaska to get 6 points. 20-0 here. Nick Snuggerud, point after pending.
I said I was happy going into the end of the first quarter with a 14-point lead, and Chaska gets it up to 21. Love to see it. It's good. Nick Snuggerud still perfect. Besides that block kick, good snap, good hold by Jack Frick. Jack Frick is such a great kid. Starting safety, senior captain, doing the holding as well. Got to see his parents before the game tonight. Great to see them out.
Gives us time to thank Heartbreakers Bar and Grill, an annual hotspot for Hawks football fans. Heartbreakers has outstanding burgers and pizza. They have great drink specials as well. Heartbreakers is located in the Chaska Commons, so get off the couch and stop by after the game tonight to enjoy some delicious food and beverages on the patio. And yes, the fire pit and heaters will be turned on. I don't even think they need the fire pit and heaters tonight. It's 70 degrees.
I don't think so. If you swing in there, you'll probably see 1 or 2 parents after the game as well.
You know, it's interesting. We had unseasonably warm conditions in the first game against St. Louis Park, then 2 cold games, and now it's, November 6th, and it's 70 degrees. I don't even know what to think anymore.
I much prefer this kind of weather, Ryan. That's just me speaking personally. The booth gets a little cold.
So 3 touchdowns for the Hawks here in the first quarter, 65 seconds to go before it's over.
This is what we like to see. After losing to a rival, you really need to bounce back quick. Because the longer you let it sit, the longer, it gets to you.
You know, it was one of those Rome team real estate keys to the game, Mike. Early offense and a quick domination from the Hawks, and we've seen both of those tonight. Miscommunication on the return for Apple Valley. It is number 8, Elijah Beckfield, who ends up with the football, and he gets out to about the 36, where he's finally brought down by Zach Schaefer coming off that pick 6. And Apple Valley will get the ball right back on offense. Chaska defense not getting much of a break. I mean, they just had a pick 6.
Schaefer doing a little bit of everything. It looks like he's going to get a breather here, and we're going to bring in Nolan Kemp to sub for him, let him get a quick squirt of water, and then he'll be back out there.
We mentioned that Hamza is out tonight. We were told that Evan Cummings, the junior, was going to start. It looks like it's actually Leo Smalley who going to get the majority of the work on the defensive end position tonight for Chaska.
Yeah, depending on what we see going forward, it's going to be probably Smalley, Cummings, and Brackey.
We mentioned that they would be by committee work. There's a flag after the play coming from the umpire behind the line of scrimmage as the run was strung out to the original line of scrimmage. Frick getting credit for the tackle. We are waiting to see what the penalty is. It came in after the tackle was made from behind the original line of scrimmage.
I think he was just having trouble getting it out of his pocket. It looked like there was a holding on Spencer Getz there, who was able to fight off that hold and still make a play in the backfield.
It is just that, holding against Apple Valley. Chaska will accept the penalty, and it'll back Apple Valley up to the 25-yard line where it'll be 1st and 20.
Yep, 1st and 20 here. Great situation for them to be able to apply a little pressure. Make Apple Valley, get out of their standard offense. Make them push the ball downfield and hopefully make another mistake.
Gives us a quick time to thank Chaska Laundry Center for a fresh, clean environment that greets you every time that you walk in. Check out chaskalaundrycenter.com for more details. So 2nd and 20 for the Eagles here near the end of the first quarter. Eli Schilling takes the snap on this one, and the pass is incomplete, rolling out to the right. Schilling's first incompletion of the night.
Schilling's more of their passing quarterback. You can definitely see just based off of that first throw, he does have the bigger arm. And now with Apple Valley being down 20 rip early, we're going to see maybe a little bit, like I said, they're going to have to open up their playbook on offense. And so putting Schilling in there makes sense.
Schilling, the 5'11", 175 sophomore, head coach Chad Clendenning for Apple Valley, electing to make a change here on offense, maybe trying to light a spark in his Eagles team here, as they're looking for just their second win of the season, 1-3 through 4 games. They're, as we mentioned in the first couple minutes, their only win coming against Park of Cottage Grove in week 3. Schilling back. Fires. It's almost intercepted again. That's Cage Montoya. Mike, we kind of talked about it off air before the game. We haven't seen a lot of teams target Cage Montoya this year, simply because he was an all-metro cornerback last year.
Yeah, you get that all-metro tag in the preseason. You get all-state last year, and teams are going to shy away from it. It's just smart football. You don't want it to go, force something that's not there. There's no point in trying to, target an elite cornerback. You see it at the higher levels, and you're seeing it now in high school. Cage is going to be kicking himself for not taking that one to the house. 14
ticks left here in the first quarter. Ryan, Paul, Mike Schmid with you here on the Lifetime Fitness Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network. Watch CHBN.com, Chaska Community TV, Channel 14. This is Hawks and Eagles. Hawks out to a quick start. Handoff for Apple Valley. The give to Jesse Giambi. Giambi up to the 40-yard line. Not going to be enough for the first down, though, after the holding call on first down. And that is how the first quarter will end. Chaska dominating early, Mike.
Yeah, that hot start, just like we said, love to see it. Nice tackle there by Jack Frick. It looked like our defensive line kind of got washed down a little bit there. We saw Caleb Hester go into that motion, and Apple Valley chose to keep it conservative there and on the ground, and now we've got that 4th and 7. Hopefully the Hawks can turn them over and get the ball back here.
We'll step aside for a quick minute. You're watching Hawks football on CHBN. Back from Chaska High School. Want to thank all of our great sponsors tonight here helping support Chaska Hawks football on the Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network. We'll have more of that in just a minute. It's 4th and long. Botched snap on the punt, and Grant Susner is in to make the tackle at the 20-yard line. The punter, Othaniel Green, couldn't handle the high snap, and Apple Valley's going to pay. The Hawks will start with 1st and 10 just outside the red zone.
Yep, let's look for them to press the issue here. Really, put it away early. Hopefully we can get a bunch of seniors that haven't seen the field too much, get them out on the field in the second half. Nice play by Kemp and Seuss to get back in there. Two names I call a lot, coaching the
Yep.
freshman team. They both have little brothers playing defensive back for the freshman squad.
So Hawks, 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. It was a Jack Boyle long touchdown run from about 40 that kicked it off. Then DeWantis Yeomans plunged ahead for 6-yard touchdown rush. And Zach Schaefer had a pick 6 right towards the end of the first quarter, and that's where we sit now. Just underway in the second frame. Paul in the backfield, a low snap. Has Bachman on the far side. Bachman in the end zone, and Bachman hauls it in. It's another touchdown. Paul to Bachman, something we've seen a lot the last couple weeks, Mike. And it's a Hawks touchdown. The Hawks go up 28-0.
You know what? That's too easy. Apple Valley, I highlighted it earlier. They're playing a lot of man-on-man on the outside, and that's just not going to work against Chaska. I mean, we haven't seen Chaska open it up big time quite yet. We did have that early pass interference call that got us got us 15 yards, and now we see it here with a deep touchdown shot.
There's a problem with the scoreboard in the stadium, but Chaska will be up 28-0 after this Nick Snuggerud extra point. Snap pulled, good. Snuggerud's kick is perfect, and Chaska 28-0.
Yep, it looks like the scoreboard's frozen here for us. We did get the scoring update there, but
didn't give him the extra point.
Didn't give him the extra point early. So.
Well, I guess the viewers can't see that. It's 28-0, and you can see our clock or our scoreboard, which tonight Mike York, kind enough to join us here for the production duties tonight. Appreciate his work coming out here to produce our games the last couple weeks. 28-0 Chaska. Bachman to Paul last week. It was the Care 11 hot highlight, the Ethan Bachman one-handed grab, and it's basically the same thing here tonight, just a fade route to the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, he's got too much size and speed, and just the intricacies of the game that he's so good at. He gets his hands up late so the DB doesn't know it's arriving. You know, he works his quick release off the line of scrimmage. It's a lot of that small stuff that a lot of viewers don't see that he does so well. Great ball by Matty Paul there.
You know,
as well.
I like to see that. You know, we're understanding weaknesses here in this Apple Valley game. You know, you're able to expose the Ethan Bachman is one of the taller guys in the field. Paul is able to get it over the line of scrimmage, over any arms, and it's those two have been playing pitch and catch since they were little.
Yep, it was a perfect ball thrown. Ethan able to use both hands, unlike that highlight catch he had last week.
Nick Snuggerud will boot, and as he does that, we want to remind you that Allison Turner at LuLaRoe, as the kick will be returned from the 1-yard line. We'll get back to LuLaRoe in just a second, but there was another miscommunication on the kickoff, and Apple Valley is going to start from the Boondocks here from the 10-yard line. I do want to mention, though, ladies, if you're looking for comfortable, fashionable, and fun clothing, check out Allison Turner's LuLaRoe Boutique in downtown Chaska. The store is located at 113 East 2nd Street in downtown Chaska, or you can call 952-380-7032. That's 952-380-7032. Wear what you love and be you at LuLaRoe. Mike, you were saying.
Yeah, that was kind of a little mistake there by Valley to even pick up that ball. It looked like it was going to roll into the end zone for a touchback if they would have let it go.
So 1st and 10 from Apple Valley after the miscommunication. Handoff on the end around is for Caleb Hester, the senior.
Grant Susner with a great tackle there.
Once again. You know, Mike, we talked about this prior to coming on air too. Grant Susner is having an all-metro kind of a year. You know, the current situation, the team not playing very well, and a guy who is not ever going to get the recognition that he deserves. But as we said, he's having an all-metro kind of year. 34 tackles on the year.
Yeah, he's unheralded, but he is a great player. I mean, he fights hard. His technique is flawless, and he's got a nose for the ball.
14 tackles had Susner in the Chanhassen game. Movement early on the line in the backfield, and it'll back Apple Valley up even further. Will be probably a half distance to the goal kind of a situation here as the ball is spotted on the 5.5 yard line.
What I'm guessing there is Apple Valley probably chose to go on to something I like to do as a coach a lot, especially when I'm pinned back deep, because worst case scenario, you lose 2 yards, but you could gain 5 and get out of that safety danger zone, and their running back just jumped.
It is a half the distance to the goal kind of a situation, so it'll be 2nd and 12. Ball on the 3 yard line. It was Noah Freight who jumped in the backfield. Apple Valley tries to plunge up the middle. They're not going to get anywhere. Might even they'll get a yard or two. They'll put him at the 4 yard line, and now brings up 3rd and a mile and a half for Apple Valley, and not to help. They're back on their own goal line.
They're just trying to get out of that end zone area after that bad snap on the punt in the previous possession. You do not want to be punting from your end zone.
Looks like we might be encountering some technical difficulties here. I think we're still with you with the audio, though. We'll make sure to get back, try to get our video feedback here momentarily. But we are still with you, I think, with the audio. We are having some technical difficulties, though. Chaska and Apple Valley here. Ryan Paul. Apple Valley will look to throw. Caleb Scott hauls it deep, and it's just barely intercepted. Dropped, though, at the 35-yard line by Zach Schaefer, who was looking for his second pick of the ball game.
Schaefer wanted another one there. You know what? I mean, Chaska's coaching staff wants him to get that pick, but they're probably okay with him dropping it after the punting. What was the last possession, and with Valley being pinned in so deep.
We just want to remind you we are encountering some technical difficulties. Looks like we're getting it worked out right now. Chaska and Apple Valley doing battle here. It'll be 4th down, Apple Valley punting for the 3rd time tonight. Otheniel Green gets it off. It's a short one. It's going to take a bounce at the 22-yard line and bounce all the way back. Chaska is going to get the ball to start at the 17-yard line.
Yep, the dropped interception ended up being a blessing in disguise there. Schaefer would have picked that ball off about the 35 and probably been tackled immediately. Instead, now the Hawks get the ball all the way down at the 16-yard line. The punt was almost blocked as well. I know you probably can't see that because of the technical difficulties, but we got in there quick. It was a good snap, though. Punt took a Hawks bounce and rolled all the way back to the 16.
We should have our technical difficulties figured out now, I believe. Video should be back with you. Sorry about that. A quick glitch. It wouldn't be a CHBN broadcast if it was perfect. So we'll try to get that back as quick as possible. Hawks have Braden Sanders in the game. Braden Sanders on the stamper. Quarterback keep to the end zone. Touchdown, Hawks.
Nice and easy run there. Fake the give up the middle to Yeomans. Yeomans has been running so effectively that Apple Valley has to honor that and allowed Sanders to just basically walk into the end zone for a 16-yard score.
So Chaska goes up 33-0 now. 34-0 rather. Scoreboard's still wrong. But it was Sanders for his first rushing touchdown of the season. They're getting the junior back involved at quarterback. We didn't see any of him last week. But Braden Sanders into the end zone. We hope you saw that. You should have. We did have some technical difficulties there. Nick Snuggerud's extra point is good. And Chaska with 5 touchdowns already tonight against Apple Valley. Yep. Just the game that they needed here after the tough loss.
Yeah, this is kind of a grab your pail and go to work, grab your lunch pail and go to work type of game for the Hawks. They're imposing their will. They know they're a better team. They're proving it out on the field. Big plays left and right. Their defense holding and being stout, causing turnovers. This is what we love to see. I expected a quick start from Ryan, but I didn't expect 34-0 or 35-0 with 9:35 left in the second quarter.
So Chaska out 30. I think it's 35-0. I think the scoreboard.
I don't
34.
know if we
must have missed an extra point.
Yeah, we must have.
We didn't catch that. Scoreboard says 34-0. I will have to get confirmation on. That's all the information that we have right now. So.
I would think Erickson would screw up quicker than Snuggerud would miss an extra point.
Erickson, I know you don't know these. I think it's Kemp and Miller who are volunteering to run the scoreboard this year. So you never know with that cast of characters in the press box. Greg Erickson doing the PA work this year for Chaska has been great. We do want to remind you that at halftime, Chaska Athletic Director John Summer will join the program. And we'll talk to him about the effect of COVID and other things. Obviously, the A topic is COVID in this day and age. And I think he'll be able to explain a little more what's going on inside this Chaska Hawks football program with the COVID situation and more. So Apple Valley's Nick Snuggerud's kick goes into the end zone. He kicked that one all the way beyond the end line.
Yeah, that one landed about 7 yards deep. Nick Snuggerud's got that big leg, and the coaching staff probably just told him, you know what, at this point, no mistakes. Go out there and boom it.
So 34-0. Not much to say other than total domination by the Hawks tonight.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I love to see it. Games like this are fun
yep.
for the seniors, for the juniors, anybody out there playing. It's just a fun game to be in.
Under center, not a thing you see a lot in high school football, but Eli Schilling has it here. He passes off to the far side for Hayden Hansen. Hayden Hansen has the catch, and he gets up after a catch and run for about 11 yards to the 31-yard line. And Chaska allows their first down of the game.
Yep, good backfield action there. Fake toss sweep to the to your athlete in Hester, and then just hitting that backside pass. Nice, easy pitch and catch for Valley. Good execution.
9:10 to go here, first quarter. Or second quarter, rather. Rolling out to the right is Schilling. Schilling has an option, but he throws it out of bounds. It wasn't even close. Looking for number 11, Jaden Garrison.
Schilling hasn't been overly effective so far, but you can definitely see that he does have a better arm than Scott, the initial starter, which is why Apple Valley made the move, knowing that they're going to need to open up that offense.
Just under 9 to go, second quarter. Hope everything has worked out with the technical difficulties we had briefly. It looks good from our end. So glad you've tuned in here. Watch chbn.com, Chaska CTV 14. Appreciate everybody's effort in getting things going tonight. Second down and 10 to go for Apple Valley. Schilling in the backfield under center, fumbles the handoff, and it looks like Chaska has it. Diving in there was number 71, Josh Boffman. And Chaska will get the ball back after the muffed handoff attempt, and Boffman dives on the football.
Yeah, when you're Valley at this point, it just keeps going from bad to worse. Something as simple as a backfield handoff. Boffman, great penetration, able to fall on the ball, but they've just got to focus on executing the small things if you're Apple Valley. Chaska's just got to keep pushing the advantage. I mean, Valley's handed them the game right now. The muff snap early, the pick six. Those are mistakes that you can't make as an underdog on the road.
And maybe, Mike, Apple Valley has been shut out 3 times this year. The simple fact is they can't keep the ball in their hands. They can't keep the offense on the field.
For as simple as the offense is, they're not executing.
Yep. Sanders in the game at quarterback. He keeps this one, but it's a false start against the Hawks. So Sanders, the junior, we saw him in the first 3 games, 5'11", 185, 7 for 12 passing through for 53 yards, 6 rushed for 13 yards coming into the game, but he had the latest touchdown for the Hawks on the ground. We will see number 14, Brandon Westover, in the game at wide receiver. He's on the bottom of your screen nearest us. Hawks go 4 wide. 1 on the backfield. Sanders drops back to pass. Looks like he's going to run. Throws at the line of scrimmage. Caught by Bachman at the 20. And he runs up ahead for 3 or 4 additional yards. Moving to change. Chaska closer to the goal line and a fresh set of downs.
Yep, after getting beat for a 20-yard touchdown earlier in the quarter, Ethan Bachman runs a simple hitch route. Sanders doing a good job to create a throwing lane for himself by rolling out to the right. That's simple pitch and catch. Good football.
Yep. First and 10, ball on the 16-yard line. Man in motion is Snuggerud. Sanders in the pistol. Hands off up the middle. Boyle. Boyle doesn't get anything. He's stopped at the line of scrimmage. A pile of humanity in there.
Same play they ran last possession to get that 16-yard touchdown. They're in the exact same situation. Ball on the far side of the field on the 16-yard line. That time Saunders chose to give to the dive man. I think he might have had an open route around the edge if he'd have kept it.
So Hawks second and lost maybe 1 yard on that Boyle carry. Sanders and Boyle in the backfield. Boyle rolling near side, or Sanders rolling near side rather. Boyle's pass is over the head of Nick Snuggerud and right into the breadbasket of Bobby Jackson, the senior, who has an interception for Apple Valley.
Boyle rolling left there. It's against his strong side, but he did have an open man that I thought they could have executed that pass. It was just a simple overthrow. He didn't set his feet, didn't get his hips around, and that caused him to float it a little bit.
Sanders' second interception on the year, and Apple Valley now getting their first break of the ball game, pinned back deep in their own end zone, but has a chance here to move the ball with some momentum.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. The Hawks defense hasn't been on the field a lot. They should be pretty fresh. Let's see them push, get a big push up the middle.
High formation under center, fullback dive. That's Hayden Hansen who gets the call. and he pushes ahead for maybe a yard or two before he's brought down there by a slew of Chaska Hawks. Coming up from that pile is Max Hatfield, the junior.
I'll never claim to be an expert at football, but running a fullback dive at Coles-Weefel is not going to be something that works very often. He's just too big, too strong in the middle. He eats up too many blockers, and he takes up so much space. Hunter Brackey also in on the tackle.
Big Coles-Weefel, 6'2", 305. He's had a great year, Mike, on that defensive line. Running that nose guard position, really handled these offensive lines well. Apple Valley under center, not something we see too often in high school football. Caleb Scott, the quarterback, rolls out right, overthrows his intended target, though, and Caleb Hester couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, they just can't get anything going in the passing offense. They're simple, roll out to the left. Couldn't get the pass down. Back to Coles-Weefel, though, he's a guy that coming into, I coached him from about 5th grade on to 8th grade, and he was always a guy who was a big body, but he was, the nicest guy in the world. Never wanted to be too aggressive.
Yep.
Speaking with Adam Wolf, speaking with, Corey Bowman, 2 coaches on the varsity staff, they're saying he's a guy that's really come into his own. 9th grade, he's an okay player. The last couple years, though, he's really turned into, what could be one of the stars of the Hawks defense.
Another 3rd and long situation for Apple Valley to try to get out of. Fullback or halfback dive up the middle this time. He bounces it outside, and he's good for about 15 yards and a first down. So Apple Valley moves the chains on 3rd and long.
Yep, it looked like that was a simple lead dive there with the fullback filling in. Spencer Getz got washed down in a little bit of traffic. He was able to recover and make the tackle, but unfortunately it was about 15 yards downfield.
DeMarco Walton, the ball carrier on that play. We've called a lot of names so far for Apple Valley in this offense tonight. Going with the 2 quarterback set between Scott and Schilling. Scott gets this possession, and Apple Valley moves the ball.
A lot of times getting a lot of kids involved is a great thing. I think Valley's doing it out of necessity. They don't necessarily have a big play threat.
This is a Chaska defense as there's a timeout on the field. Apple Valley calls their first one. I do actually, before I mention that, want to step aside and thank Twin Cities Orthopedics. They're trusted by some of the biggest names in sports, and they bring that same level of care to athletes of all ages here in our community. No injury is too small. Walk into any of TCO's 8 orthopedic urgent care locations. Open 8 to 8, 7 days a week. That's including Waconia. Visit tcomn.com to learn more. TCO is proud to support Chaska Hawks football. Also want to give a shout-out to the Rome team sponsoring our keys to the game tonight, and they're also helping thousands of families extra early transition into a new home. Emily and Jan are known for their service, integrity, and results. They partner with the clients to prepare, price, and sell their homes. Whether you're buying or selling a home, put the Rome team to work for you. That's RomeTeamRealEstate.com. Mike, that point I was trying to make, Chaska this year has already allowed 6 more points than it allowed all of last regular season. So half the games of a sample size this year and already more points allowed. This Chaska defense needs a shutout tonight.
Yeah, it would be great to see, and it's a good confidence booster for the Chaska defense that, they're licking their wounds after that Chanhassen game, giving up 20-plus points.
Movement.
Looks
Chaska
like
thinks it's against Apple Valley.
It is. False start on 72. That's Chetta. Sophomore Andrew Chetta.
Great last name.
Yes, it is. That was one I circled in the pregame. I was hoping I'd be able to call it.
Understand our clock has gone out. That's a minor technical difficulty. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get that back. 6:28, though, is the amount of time left in this first half. Chaska dominating Apple Valley 34-0. We think that Chaska missed an extra point at one point, and we just missed it. Would be the reason why they're 1 point short of 35. Chaska strings out this run in the backfield. DeMarco Walton tried to catch the edge, but Chaska contained very well.
Nathan Schwartz with a great tackle. He's somebody he's really surprised me coming on this year. He had to take on a big role in that outside linebacker position. Is typically where the coaching staff, the defensive coordinator, tends to, like for the Hawks at least, tends to put their best athletes. You see Spencer Getz on the other side. Schwartz doing a great job filling in on the other side.
So this Hawks defense, another 2nd and long situation, 2nd and 20 officially on the scoreboard. Scott rolls out far side, tries to cut back up in the middle, but there's nowhere to go.
That's one that hurts as a quarterback. You got that defensive line pursuit. You got a linebacker in there as well. You take a big hit from three big Chaska Hawks defenders. Putting Apple Valley back at about, 3rd and 15 is a situation where they just can't be successful. Their offense isn't tailored for that. So the Hawks doing another great job on this defensive possession.
3rd and 15 after a gain of 5 on the Caleb Scott bootleg. Another long way to go for Apple Valley, something we've seen quite a bit tonight. Scott under center. Looking to pass, drops back, 5-step drop over the middle. Hauled in by Jaden Garrison, but he's going to be far short of the first down. Back to the original line of scrimmage, and it'll bring up 4th and 10.
There's a big hit there by Seuss to make sure that he stays down there. Nice job.
So Apple Valley brings out the specialty teams unit once again, and for head coach Chad Clendenning, a frustrating night here, and we still have 4.5 to go before we reach halftime. But Apple Valley down 34-0 here and punting for the 4th or 5th time tonight. Green bobbles the snap, gets a decent punt away. It'll be caught by Nick Snuggerud, who catches and runs up along the sideline. Snuggerud finally steps out of bounds in opponent territory at the 43-yard line. And the Hawks will take over once again on offense.
Good job by Green there. He kind of, he mishandled the punt a little bit, but he was able to get it away, and he pinned Snuggerud on the far side of the field. He's so slippery that you're making sure that you don't give him a nice punt in the middle of the field to work with. That was a nice play by the punter there.
So Braden Sanders will go back onto the field for Chaska on this one. We'll probably see a lot of him tonight. It is interesting, though, because Chaska last year had a couple situations where they went up big, and we didn't see a lot of the younger quarterbacks. But in this one, Braden Sanders, they've experimented with him this year, and he's played well so far. And tonight he has a touchdown run, also has an interception, but he's back on the field for this possession for the Hawks. Handoff to the senior Dewandis Yeomans. Yeomans bounces it off the C gap, and he's up across the 40-yard line, close to the 35. And it's a gain of 4 or 5, and Chaska still in business here inside Apple Valley territory.
That's about as standard as it gets. That's a yeoman's run. You're gonna get 5. You're gonna get 6. He's gonna fall forward for the extra one. It's just a good job on his part. He always has his legs turning, and he always runs hard.
Bachman split out wide side. That's the only wide receiver lined up for Chaska. They go 2 in the backfield and 1 at the tight end position. Shotgun snap, trickery here from Chaska. Apple Valley blows it up, but Snuggerud gets away from the original tackle, is able to string it outside the numbers, and maybe gain 1 or 2. So Chaska avoids catastrophe in the backfield. On the blown play, it looked like some end-around action, possibly some confusion behind the line of scrimmage, but Snuggerud ended up taking the pigskin out to the far side and gained about a yard.
I like the play call there. They did get a little creative. Getting the ball into Nick Snuggerud's hands is never a bad idea. What happened there was they're looking to run a quick counter with Snuggerud, and I think that they had their left guard pulling, and a linebacker just shot that gap and blew up the play in the backfield. Nice play by Valley.
3rd and 4 to go, maybe 5. Hawks now will spread the field 4 wide, 1 in the backfield. It's Yeomans. Sanders, 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, takes the shotgun snap. Quick look over the middle. Has Getz. Getz hauls it in at the 30. Gets up to the 10 where he's finally brought down inside the red zone. Sanders strikes to Getz, and the Hawks are in scoring position yet again.
Valley came out in a cover 2 there with their deep safeties, and Getz found the soft spot. It was a nice play by the senior captain. Good throw there again by Sanders.
Getz, who wasn't involved in the passing game a whole lot the first 3 games of the season, came up big against Chan for a catch over the middle, and now he has 2 or 3 catches, I believe, here tonight.
Yep, he's got 2 catches tonight.
Sanders hands off to Boyle. This one's going to be a loss, though, as Apple Valley read it well. That's the defensive end, Noah Fright, who sniffed it out there and brought Boyle down behind the line of scrimmage.
Aaron Nash is checking in for the first time that we've seen here for a Chaska Hawks home game. He's somebody that the coaching staff's excited about. He's an aggressive, physical runner, and they're looking to get him more involved.
Nash, the junior, lines up in the backfield. He'll get the carry on this one. Nash up across the 10-yard line. And a good scamper. I was impressed. Aaron Nash quick off the ball and not afraid of contact as he plunges ahead for a gain of 4.
No, he's never been afraid of contact. It's something that he thrives on it. He's quick. He's got good, quick feet. For him, it's just about getting involved in the offense, getting into the playbook, and just really deep dive in there and being able to show a little bit of versatility.
Nash checks out after the gain of 4, brings back Boyle to the backfield. He'll actually line up at the tight end spot. Off tackle of Breaky. Yeoman's in the backfield on this one. Hawks will look to throw once again over the middle. Sanders has Snuggerud, and it's dropped. Mike, it's an interesting thing. We've seen Snuggerud haul in some great catches this year, but he's had his fair share of drops. I think that might be his 5th or 6th pretty significant drop of the year.
Yeah, that's the one frustrating thing with Nick Snuggerud. He's such a great athlete, and he's such a great kid, and he's fun to watch out there. Every once in a while, though, he'll let one slip through his fingers like he did just right there.
This is the first attempted field goal this season for Chaska.
Yeah, our fans are probably thinking that we're a little ridiculous talking about Nick Snuggerud's kicking ability, but they just haven't had to use it.
Snuggerud takes one step into it and makes it look easy. That's up and through. A 23-yard field goal for Nick Snuggerud.
I'm thinking maybe he just dropped that pass so we could get a field goal in.
Trying to pad the stats. Yeah, it would have been a surefire 6. And, as you said, Nick Snuggerud's a great athlete, but it's been kind of his Achilles heel this year have been those drops.
They happen.
Yep.
High school football, it happens. Momentary lapse in concentration. You get hit in the chest with a ball, and you just can't wheel it in. With him, it's okay to take a couple bad plays because there's so much good.
Yep, that's exactly right. I totally agree with you. And Chaska's not. It doesn't appear Chaska's going to be itching for additional points here in this game, but that was a 3rd down play, and Chaska ends up coming away with 3 points regardless. So Snuggerud on the board. It's his first field goal attempt of the season after he shined last year in the kicking game for Chaska. They haven't had to use him so far this year, and it's 37-0. 36 seconds left in the first half.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised that when he went to the sidelines, the coaching staff probably didn't even say anything to him. He knows.
Snuggerud boots it deep. This one is hauled in by Bobby Jackson. Bobby Jackson up to the 30. Bobby Jackson breaks through the first line of tacklers, and he's finally strung down at the 44-yard line. And Apple Valley will take over after a solid return by Bobby Jackson, the senior.
6'2", 285, and he looks like he's closer to 200. Getting him running downfield, he's going to be a tough tackle. Schaefer with another nice play.
28 seconds left before we reach halftime. We do want to remind you that after our messages from our sponsors, we will have John Summer on the program at halftime from the broadcast booth here at Chaska High School, so stick around for that. Athletic Director John Summer at halftime. Apple Valley looking to throw. This is Schilling. Schilling tries deep, but is picked off. Chaska with their second interception of the game. This is Jack Frick. Jack Frick with room to run, and Jack Frick bulldozes over DeMarco Walton at the 45-yard line. Hawks have their second pick of the night, and they'll take over with 17 seconds left in the first half. Frick's first interception of the season.
I'm really happy for Jack Frick. He has been one of my favorite players on this team since about 5th grade. Troy Bachman, Jamie Susner, and myself all to help coach these guys when they're coming up through CCFA. Jack Frick was always one of the best athletes. Couldn't get the ball into his hands enough coming up. Seeing him as a senior, being able to go out and get a nice pick there, love to see it. He couldn't be a nicer kid. His parents are great. Super happy for him.
Sanders back out on the field. I would imagine Chaska will be content with a 37-rip lead going into halftime. Looks like they're going to line up for a play. Will throw the ball here. 1st and 10. Sanders steps into it, but he stepped to right into Charlie Harris, who swallowed him up in the backfield. It's the first sack of the season for this Apple Valley defense. Sanders didn't have much room to work with there. Harris the sack.
I would have liked to see Sanders roll a little bit to the right there. He's got to be able to feel that backside pressure. The routes that he was targeting were both on the right side of the field. I'd love to see him use his feet a little more.
That's how the first half will end. It's a dominating performance for Chaska in the first half. 37-0 at the break. When we return, John Summer, Chaska Athletic Director, joins us here in the booth. You're watching Hawks football presented by Lifetime Fitness.
don't think there's really one moment that starts a comeback. We have the ability to overcome anything as long as we're surrounded by the right people.
I need a good group of people to trust, to work on my body.
I'll be back and I'll be stronger than ever.
I go, who are you? He goes, I'm the guy that's going to save your life.
Comebacks imply returning to where you once were. I want to go where I've never been.
Hawks football would like to thank these great third quarter sponsors, Allison Turner and Lou LaRoe, for comfortable, fashionable, and fun clothing in all sizes. Twin Cities Orthopedics, own your comeback. And Rome Team Realty. Emily Rome Welter and Jan Rome are your local real estate experts.
Swagelok of Minnesota, North Dakota, and Appleton are proud supporters of Chaska Hawks football. At Swagelok, our solutions are designed to perform under pressure, just like our Hawks football teams. We congratulate the Chaska Hawks on their 2019 state championship and wish them the best of luck this season.
We have the ability to
All right, here we are. Welcome back to Chaska High School. Ryan, Paul. We're pleased to be joined for the first time this football season.
Yeah.
Chaska Athletic Director John Summer. Mr. Summer, appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for all your work this fall season. It got extra home game out of this.
Yeah.
So I appreciate all you guys have done to make sure that this has become an option for our community.
We've kind of been saying it's been a blessing in disguise a little bit because football streaming, we've never done it before, or at least in the time that I've been around, and maybe this opens some doors here in the future for football to be streamed live, and it's definitely creating some memories for these Chaska football students. We have limited time with you here during halftime, but kind of just let our viewers know. I know there's a lot of the Chaska Hawks community watching tonight from wherever they may be. Talk about a little bit how COVID and the whole coronavirus situation has impacted things. We know, obviously, huge situation, especially in your world.
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple months here. Obviously, people are aware that, fall season's kind of got off to a different start, especially for football and volleyball. And, every day you kind of wake up and think, what's going to get thrown your way. And, through all of it, I'm excited, really excited to see our kids have an opportunity to participate and compete. I know this is something they're very passionate about. I appreciate all the coaches and our community, doing the things that we've asked them to do to try to do this as safely as we possibly can, and to continue to allow these kids, and hopefully, as we get into the winter and the spring season, those kids an opportunity to participate in something that I know is a big part of their high school experience.
And for those of you who are watching and maybe haven't had the pleasure of working or being around Mr. Summer, this is a guy who does the most for his students, and I don't just say that because you're here. This is unprecedented for all of us, and for us to be able to be playing football here in front of 250 fans and have everybody feel as comfortable as they are tonight. It's really something to be said for that. So
thank you.
Everybody appreciates that, and everybody watching obviously appreciates the school support and all this. Obviously a hot topic here in the next couple weeks is going to be winter sports. Namely for CHBN purposes, basketball and hockey, but obviously a lot of other winter activities and activities in general going on around the Chaska High School community.
Yeah, absolutely. This is next week wraps up regular season football, a couple more weeks of volleyball, but as we finish out what I call fall 2 now, we're getting ready to start the winter season, and actually we start dance team on Monday, so that's our first winter season that gets going. And again, I think probably the biggest thing that I would ask people to continue to do is, do the things that we talk as a school about masking up and certainly trying to do your distancing and make good choices, because that's how we feel like we can do our best job of keeping kids safe, keeping kids in school, and hopefully getting a shot to make sure our winter sport kids have an experience too.
And so the plan right now, as far as I'm concerned, is to have it be a limited schedule for winter sports, conference only, something like that?
Yeah, so most of our winter sports will be primarily conference, similar to what we did here in the fall 1 and fall 2 season. We have a little bit more flexibility. We'll do some non-conference. Most of it will be very local, regional section teams. Being in the metro area, we don't have to go far to find some of those competitions. And then a lot of our winter sports, your basketballs, your hockeys, section-wise, we want to play the Eden Prairies and the Minnetonkas and the Edinas. So we'll stay pretty local in those opportunities that we have to be outside of the Metro West Conference. But, again, the collaboration that I've been privileged to have, not only with my colleague at Chanhassen every day, but just in our conference and other conferences that are close to us. It's just that's one of the things that's been really rewarding in this process. People working together to try to figure this thing out on behalf of kids.
Absolutely. And, going back a couple weeks to when Chanhassen ran into the COVID situation, within 24 hours, it had been worked out where Chaska ended up hosting Armstrong here that Friday night. Hopkins, who had agreed to cancel their game with Chanhassen. I mean, the moving parts in this whole situation, it's just tremendous.
Yeah, maybe part of that was fortunate that I've been doing this now for 20 years, have a lot of people's phone numbers. So, yeah, when I had to sit in front of our football team and tell them that Chanhassen game wasn't happening, that was a tough thing to do.
Oh, I can't imagine.
But I was committed that night to going home and doing everything I could to find our kids a game, and then how everything kind of just fell into place was best case scenario. For our kids, for our District 112 kids to be able to have that matchup last week. So, again, I'm just excited. Every time we get a chance to go out and compete and our kids get a chance to go out to compete, it's a win this year.
Last question for you. I'll let you go. Obviously, our football audience is going to be wondering about section playoffs. What can you tell us about the postseason for football here? Yeah,
actually, I'm the section manager for 2-5A. We will next Wednesday is the last regular season game for all 6 teams in our section. New this year, we will not be seeding through QRF because of the reduced schedule. Our coaches will actually be seeding that Thursday morning. and then it's going to look a lot of like a section tournament. We'll do quarterfinals on a Tuesday, 2 games at the high seeds, the 3 and 4 seeds, and then we'll go semifinals on Saturday, and then the section finals will be the Saturday after Thanksgiving, 1 o'clock. And so I'm excited. I'm hoping that our Hawks are playing on probably right now. It looks like maybe for sure in those quarterfinal games, but hopefully all 3 games and playing somewhere in the section final. I think for our 3rd straight year, hopefully.
Yep. And so that would be Tuesday the 17th.
Yep.
And should Chaska have a home game, we are planning on having that here on watchchbn.com. We want to thank John Summer not only for joining us tonight, but for the last eight months, doing everything he can, in his power, and it's greatly appreciated by all the Chaska Hawk community, and we appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan, and thanks for all you've done for football this year, too.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you. Yep.
We'll be right back from Chaska High School. This is Hawks football on CHBN. Welcome back to Chaska High School. Ryan, Paul, Mike Schmidt. We want to say one more shout out to Chaska Athletic Director John Summer. Always appreciate him joining us here on CHBN whenever we get the chance to talk to him. He's really done his best job in being able to allow all these student athletes and students in general to do their activities. Mike, pretty dominant first half for the Hawks. 37 rip after 24 minutes.
It was kind of what we expected, a little bit, maybe a little bit more than we expected. Honestly, Valley's it looks like they don't want to be here tonight. They're not executing. They're dropping the ball. They're not able to complete a simple out pass right now. They can't stop our run game. They can't stop our pass game. It's good. It's a good confidence boost for the Hawks, and I'd look for them to maybe pull it back a little bit here in the second half. But this is pretty similar to the game last year.
Yep. We saw quite a bit of, I think the majority, at least the second quarter, was played by junior Braden Sanders. He had a touchdown run, also had an interception, but it's good to be able to get, Sanders, who's going to be, presumably, the starting quarterback next year for this Chaska Hawks football program some action,
Yeah, I mean, it's something that, as a coaching staff, it's tough because you want to get your seniors as much playing time as possible, but you also have to, you got to think for the future a little bit here, and you got to, nobody knows what's going to happen with the rest of the season as well.
Yep.
So getting a little bit of experience for the junior is going to be really nice because they have so many seniors that they're going to lose next year.
So Nick Snuggerud will kick things off for Chaska here as we begin the third quarter of play. A quick note, this second half, you'll notice, will go by very quickly. John Summer informed us before we went on the air that the entire second half will be running time. Coaches, normally it would be just the fourth quarter with running time over 35-point differential, but it will be both the third quarter and the fourth quarter.
Yep, it looks like the Hawks are bringing out their standard starting defense. One thing that you will see is Nolan Kemp out there at cornerback. I've talked with the coaching staff a little bit. Cage Montoya did tweak his hamstring a little bit there in the first half, so you'll see a lot of Nolan Kemp.
11:58 to go here, second half. Appreciate you tuning in. Ryan, Paul, Mike Schmidt with you here. Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network brought to you by Lifetime this evening.
Another great play by Grant Susner there. He didn't over pursue, which is oftentimes what happens with young players going against that that jet sweep. He kept to his keys and he broke down and made a nice tackle on the Valley's best athlete, Caleb Hester.
11:36 to go here. No, we don't have a clock tonight. We will work on getting that figured out by the next time we see you, which hopefully will be a week from Tuesday.
Caleb Scott back under center for Valley.
Hawks shifting on the defensive line. Scott under center, bootleg out to the wide side, has Getz spying him. Getz chases him down and brings him to the turf at the 20-yard line. That is a phenomenal athletic play there from the Chaska senior, Spencer Getz.
Spencer Getz' discipline on that play was elite. He dropped back because he knows he's got the tight end drag coming with him. That's number 13. It looks like Hayden Hansen for Valley. So that's basically just an option route for the quarterback. You can either run it or pass it, and Spencer Getz is just – he's too good of an athlete to run that play at. If you want to try that, maybe switch it to the other side, but hey, great play by Getz to run it down.
10:39 to go. Third quarter. Pass on the near side, not even close. Caleb Scott was looking for Hayden Hansen, the junior. He overthrew him by 3 or 4 yards, and it brings up 4th and long for Apple Valley.
It's probably a good thing that he overthrew Hansen there because Grant Susner was in great position and might have had a pick six if the ball would have been on target.
Green to punt for Apple Valley. It'll be probably, I haven't been keeping a tally, but his 6th punt tonight if I had to guess.
I believe it is.
10 minutes and change. Clock will be running for the majority of this second half. As the punt goes off, we want to thank Swagelock of Minnesota, North Dakota, and Appleton. They're proud supporters of Chaska Hawks football. Performing under pressure, they congratulate the Chaska Hawks on their 2019 state championship. Snuggerud receives, and he maybe lost a couple yards on the return. He got brought down at the point of contact by Hayden Hansen, the junior, and Chaska will take over 1st and 10 right around midfield.
That was a nice play by Hansen. He had Snuggerud right in the middle of the field. Not a lot of players in the conference, let alone the state, are able to make that one-on-one tackle with Nick Snuggerud, having that much room to operate with. It looks like Matty Paul is going back into that quarterback.
Yep, we'll see Matthew Paul, the senior, enter back in at quarterback. And, Mike, we talked about how it's great to get Sanders in there, the junior experience. But, you hate to say it, but with the current situation of events going on, you never know when your last game could be. So it's good we're getting the seniors involved here.
Yep, speaking with a couple of the parents, they think that this might be it, so they're out here cheering them on.
Handoff. This is Nash off the near side, rather. Nash gets back to the line of scrimmage, but he's thrown down there. Nash, the junior, Mike, I know you're a big fan of his.
Yeah, he's just a great athlete. He's a really strong physical runner. Right there, that's not necessarily his bread and butter. He wants to go north-south, not east-west. He's got to be getting downhill.
Kind of reminds you of like a Derrick Henry kind of a running back in the NFL. He just loves the ground and pound.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna locate safeties and go hit them if he breaks through that front line.
He's a lot quicker than Henry, I would say, but he's in once again at the tailback here, right of Paul. Paul gives to him. Nash up the middle. Nash through a first line and carries the pile up to the 47-yard line.
Yep, good instincts there by Nash. Simple give there, and a nice jump cut to gain an extra 4 or 5 yards when he could have been stuck right around a 1-yard gain.
Chaska 3rd and 5 here, a team that is 46% on 3rd down. Bachman enters the game, and Getz will get a breather. Chaska trying to convert here, move the ball closer. Line to gain is the 41-yard line, right around that mark.
I'd love to see one more deep shot here in this game.
Hawks spread it out with a 37-point lead. Let's see what they do. Paul will step back. Going to look over the middle. It's a tough throw for Paul to make, highly contested. So 3rd down goes unconverted, and Chaska will have a 4th and 5 here. Paul had an arm in his face as he was trying to throw it, and then he threw it through a couple of defenders towards Bachman over the middle, who he was looking for.
Looks like we're bringing out the punt team there. Tough play there for the Hawks. They ran 2 slants in with their outside wide receivers. Apple Valley, cramped the box there, making it a difficult play.
Just a lot of congestion over the middle, and it was a tough window to hit. Kemp, the junior, will come into punt. 13 punts, 33 yards average. Punting from the 47-yard line. Punt goes up in the air. It's a good one. This punt will be caught at the 5-yard line. No, it's dropped, and it'll take a bounce, and it'll be down by Chaska inside the 5-yard line. Spencer Getz takes advantage of the dropped punt.
Oh, they're saying he didn't touch it. Oh.
Now the referee is going to say that number 21, Caleb Hester, did not touch the football. So
I don't know if I agree with that one, but at least the Hawks have him pinned down.
Chaska doesn't end up getting points off of it. It would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, that looked like that was 6 points for Spencer Getz the easy way, but unfortunately the Hawks didn't get the call.
What a crazy play. So they give Apple Valley the benefit of the doubt there. We don't have the benefit of it being able to watch that at a closer angle. But Apple Valley will take over from the 4-yard line and go nowhere on first down.
Let's see if we maybe send Getz here off the edge and get him 2 points instead of 6. Good play by the defensive line there for the Hawks.
7:13 to go. We want to thank Qdoba Mexican Eats. They're a longtime sponsor of Chaska Hawks football. Qdoba, located at Highway 41 and Pioneer Trail in the Chaska Commons. Qdoba's been serving up flame-grilled, handcrafted, and made-in-house Mexican Eats for over 20 years. Don't forget to take advantage of the $8 meal deal when you show your Chaska Hawks Hawk card. Stop in or order Qdoba online today. Also want to thank you all. We have a brief minute here of running time. The broadcast tonight is supported by the Chaska Touchdown Club, and you can donate to help offset the cost of tonight's broadcast at chaskahawksfootball.com. They're a 501c3 organization, and all proceeds from the donations go to the Chaska Hawks football program. That's chaskahawksfootball.com. Would greatly appreciate your support of Chaska Hawks football.
Valley's able to complete the pass there, but it's only for 2 yards. Nolan Kemp with a great coverage there on the far side. Kemp, again, is in for the injured Cage Montoya. He's got ice wrapped around his hamstring on the sidelines.
Yeah, Montoya out, not something. Boy, as a senior, that's got to be the worst. Hawks have pressure, lots of movement on the offensive line, and they will get Apple Valley for a false start. So Valley had third and about 7. And they move him back closer to the goal line.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed towards the end of the first half here is Reed Mathers has been playing quite a bit of inside linebacker. He's doing a really nice job.
5:50 to go. Clock is running for the entirety of the second half, agreed on by both coaches. I want to thank Jeff Sweefel at the folks at Lifetime for your partnership with Hawks football. Whatever it is that you need to pursue your healthy lifestyle, Lifetime is there for you. Stop in or visit lifetime.life today. Valley throws on third down. It's picked off, and it's going to be brought into the end zone. Nolan Kemp, pick 6. Hawks back on the board.
Nice play by Kemp, being in the right spot at the right time there. Kept to his cues, got his eyes turned around into the backfield and made the simple play.
Second interception for a touchdown on the day for Chaska, and Nolan Kemp's first defensive touchdown as a varsity player.
I was talking with Tony Happ during halftime. He's the slots wide receiver coach. He also works a little bit with JV. He said last year in the JV game against Apple Valley, Chaska had 6 pick sixes. The score ended up being 77-0 in that game, which is kind of indicative of what we got tonight.
Yeah, and we are headed towards that mark. It's 43-0, soon to be 44, assuming Snuggerud hits the extra point, which he does. 44-0 here. Chaska, who kind of came out and laid an egg right at the start against Chan last week, comes out and is not skipping a beat tonight against Apple Valley. This heading Apple Valley's 4th shutout of the season.
Yeah, the Chaska's forced to punt for the first time tonight, and they pin him down deep. I thought Getz might have gotten a touchdown there. I think the refs might have missed the call, but they go ahead and score anyway. This time it's Kemp with a nice pick 6.
5:26 to go, and it's 44-0, Mike. I mean, you're kind of, it's tough to say anything about this kind of a game. Apple Valley, obviously, they're coming out and giving it their all. They have a short roster. You look at our boards here that we have, and Chaska has double the players that they roster, double the players that Apple Valley does. And
yeah, and something else that I've noticed, just looking at the roster, there's a lot of sophomores that are getting playing time for Apple Valley tonight. So between the sophomores and then you've got some of your star players going both ways for Valley, there's not a lot of guys getting a ton of run. And that makes it tough, especially in a game like this.
Snuggerud will kick off following the Nolan Kemp interception for a touchdown. This one goes into the end zone for a touchback. Chaska running down the schedule here. Dominated St. Louis Park in week 1, 44-7. Then they beat Armstrong in a little bit of a closer battle, 19-12. That was week 2. And then the last 2 games, 24-14 loss to Orono and a 25-20 loss to Chan. We mentioned it in the first half, Mike. This is the first time Chaska has lost back-to-back games in a season since 2011.
Yeah, it was bound to happen at some point. I'm sure these seniors aren't happy it happened, on their clock. But, hopefully we can bounce back.
Under center, Caleb Scott hands off up the middle. Pyle stops right at the line of scrimmage.
Looked like he slipped through Spencer Getz's grasp, but looks like Kelso Almaraz was able to finish the play.
Hawks starting defense comes off the field to a standing ovation. Presumably their night is over.
Yep, those Jack Frick, Grant Sussner, and Spencer Getz getting pulled out of the game here. They've all had terrific careers as Hawks.
Under center again. Scott, dive up the middle once again. Giamfi, the ball carrier, no gain, 3rd and 10.
I'm going to let you pronounce that one. You've got that hockey background, so you're kind of used to the different last names. I saw it in the program, and I didn't have a clue how to say it, so I'm just going to leave that one to you.
Apparently, Greg Erickson got the pronunciation before the game, and I was told it was Giamfi. That's 23 in white. Jesse Giamfi, the running back.
Nice to see Jack Cox back there playing safety.
Absolutely.
Such a great kid. His entire family is just fantastic. Got to coach him coming up. He's one of those guys, he's slightly undersized, but he's just a great football player. The only reason we haven't seen a ton of him is because the Hawks have so much talent on the backside, but he couldn't be a nicer kid. His entire family, he's always smiling. Happy to see him getting a bunch of run.
Giamfi got to the edge. Trevor Otter there was able to reach and bring him down. 4th and 10, another long yardage situation here on 4th down for Apple Valley. Getting a breeze through the press box. We haven't talked about it in the second half, but it's November 6th, and it is 70 degrees and windy.
Yeah, I like this a lot more than what we're going to have as a freshman team on Tuesday with the 35 and rain and sleet.
Apple Valley to punt. Green as Chaska nearly had a hand on it to block it, but it's going to be got off and downed at the 50-yard line. Hayden Hansen there.
Getz missed that one by about a hair. It was a good job on his part by avoiding the punter there. Almost made another great play. Spencer Getz is,
can't say enough about him.
No, you can't.
Right.
His job at outside linebacker is the most difficult job on the team. He's doing such a good job at that. He also plays tight end. He goes into the Wildcat. He scores touchdowns as a quarterback. He's just a very, very, very good player.
2:50 to go, 3rd quarter. Matthew Paul in at quarterback. It'll be him and Braden Sanders probably splitting time. This snap is way back there. Paul diving for it, and he's not able to fall on it. And it looks like Chaska will get it back. That snap was high. Paul let it go right through the hands, though.
Yeah, it's not something you see very often with 2 seniors, both captains. And Paul's a little slow to get up here.
Paul took a hit as he dove for the ball. Hobbling off. Looks like he might be winded, but Braden Sanders will come in and take over, and it wouldn't surprise me if Paul's night is over.
Yeah, he's favoring his right knee a little bit. The last thing we need, we talked about it before the game. If the Hawks do get up big, the last thing we want is an injury.
Yep.
It looks like he's moving gingerly, but he's moving all right.
Yep. So Sanders in to man the offense here on 3rd and 37. Handoff to Yeomans. Yeomans with space. Yeomans up to the 45. He's going to be short of the original line of scrimmage, but DeWandis Yeomans with a solid carry up to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, but it looks like that was 2nd down. Simple draw play up the middle. Nice stock blocking on the outside by 19, Ethan Bachman. Able to gain about 15 yards back. Gets him into 3rd and, slightly more manageable here. We'll see if they open up the offense. Number 17 for Apple Valley, I believe, is, Josh Martinson, sophomore on the outside on Ethan Bachman. Simple mismatch out there. Look for them to take advantage of it.
Sanders, trouble with the snap, ends up getting it to Yeomans. Yeomans through the first line. Yeomans horse collar down at the 40.
Good hard run. When you got yourself in a situation when it's 2nd and 40 and you can rush twice and gain a first down, that's not too bad. That's something Coach Dahl's going to be really happy about, and I know the offensive line's going to be happy about that as well.
60 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Chaska moves the chains after a 37-yard battle for a first down. Just an update on Paul, who's on the bench right now. They did take his right shoe off. Could be something on the lower leg. Obviously has had knee trouble in the past.
Yep, looks like we got some wholesale changes out there.
Yep.
Good to see quite a few fresh new faces.
Sanders. Hands off to Nash. Nash gets back to the line of scrimmage before he is pushed back with force. The Apple Valley front three doing a good job there, not allowing Nash to break through.
Yep, it looks like we got our starting offensive line is now sitting on the sidelines here. Weren't able to get a good push up the middle, kind of left Nash for bear there. Good effort by him to get back to the line of scrimmage almost. And Chaska lets the quarter run out here. They're happy with that 44-point lead.
44-0 after 3 quarters. It's been a total domination tonight for Chaska, and they will move on to next week at Bloomington Jefferson. So that's the last game of the regular season, Mike, and then we move on to section play, which we're hoping Chaska will be able to have a home game here, and CHBN will be able to bring you that broadcast. Next week at Bloomington Jefferson, assuming that game is played, will be brought to you by BEC TV. For those of you watching on Community TV 14, I believe we are planning to televise that game on there, and then you will be able to access a link to the broadcast at watchchbn.com. BEC TV does a phenomenal job with their broadcast, so you will enjoy next week's game between Chaska and Jefferson.
Yep, not too much to say here going into the fourth quarter. I'm proud of these seniors. They came out, they bounced back after a tough loss to a rival. That's never easy, especially in a short and weird season. Yep, so it looks like Leo Smalley's back on the offensive line, he's at right tackle right now. We got some different people in there, like I said. I also saw, I think Connor Paulson out there, the junior.
Handoff up the middle.
That was Nash again.
Nash on the call, yep. 11:45 in running, as it will be for the entirety of the second half, or the remainder of the second half, I should say. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Got new wide receivers out there. Tristan Perkins is out there. He'll be on the bottom half of your screen. Mitchell Heimer also in the slot on the bottom half of the screen.
Nash, the carry up the middle. Gets to the 35, but no more.
I know it's against the wind here, and we're up 44. Yeah. I want to see Snuggie attempt a 52-yarder here. Doesn't look like I'm going to get my wish,
no.
But
he hit from that distance inside U.S. Bank Stadium last year at the state tournament.
Mm-hmm. Late substitution. Looks like Tyler Spielberger going in at outside wide receiver on the top half of your screen.
4th and 5. Nash up the middle. Going to be close, but he's not going to get it. So it'll be a turnover on downs. Aaron Nash gets the carry, but Chaska can't push it across the line to gain. So the Hawks give the ball back to Apple Valley here with 10:32 to go in the final quarter.
Yep, Omar Zaki out there on the offensive line. The rest of the boys weren't able to get a big enough push to get Nash across the line to gain there. And let's see what we got for defense.
Apple Valley trots Hayden Hansen out there at running back. Looks like we will see Caleb Scott under center at quarterback. No, it's not Scott. It's Schilling instead. Chaska defensive line not allowing any advancing of the ball there by Apple Valley.
Good job there by Chaska's interior defensive line and those linebackers pushing Valley back. Looks like Spencer Getz might be done tonight. Great career on this field. Hopefully we get one more game.
Yep.
He's replaced by Ben Bowe, the junior.
Penalty was on Apple Valley. Chaska declines it.
It looks like Schwartz is also on the bench next to Getz, the other outside linebacker. He's been replaced by Brendan Sewer.
So Chaska getting the younger talent in there now as Apple Valley breaks one through. That is 23. Giamfi through the line into the 40-yard line, brings up 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 maybe.
Yep, Cholico Otero checking in as an interior defensive lineman for the first time tonight. We still have Jack Cox deep at safety.
Handoff. Stuttering in the backfield is Giamfi. Giamfi out to the numbers, and it looks like they're going to award him a first down. So Apple Valley moves the chains.
I thought we might have had to stop there. It looks like they just got enough. Ben Bowe came in to finish the play, but he was a little late. Trevor Otter back with Jack Cox as their safety. Looks like Caden Rector's on the outside on the bottom half at cornerback as well. Some new names that we haven't called much of this season.
Yep.
Killian Riley on the far side corner.
Riley Killian.
All right, thank you.
Handoff to Giamfi in the backfield.
Mitchell,
Broke Mitchell Heimer's attempt.
Heimer had him dead to rights, and he couldn't wrap up.
So, Mike, I mean, I guess since we have a second here, let's go back to those Rome Team Realty keys to the game that we talked about. Early offense, check. Linebacker play, check. Pick sixes. Dominate and get back on track. I don't know. Do you think they've done that tonight?
Yeah, check. I mean, we nailed the keys to the game for once.
You nailed the keys to the game. Right? It's easy as me for me to text you on Thursday night and say, what are your keys to the game for tomorrow night? That's how it goes here. Tripped up in the backfield by the monster on the 45-yard line. That's Eli Schilling who took a tumble, and the handoff doesn't get past that line.
Looks like the Schilling's having a tough time just getting the handoff off. Great penetration by this backup defensive line by the Hawks. It's really been impressive. Valley's offensive line I don't know if they have all their starters in there right now, but there's definitely some big boys. So good effort by the interior line for the Hawks.
7:34 to go. Confusion in the backfield yet again. There's a hold on the outside. They're going to let that one go, I think, though. Here's the Giamfi up across the 30-yard line, and he's brought down there. I'm not exactly sure that was the result of a clean block, but they'll give it to Giamfi with the lead at 44-0.
I think that these refs are ready to get out of town here because we saw a holding there in the initial early in the play, and then I definitely saw a block in the back on our cornerback on the bottom half of your screen, allowing for that play to be successful. I mean,
Brian Dahl letting the linesman know. I mean, obviously you're not going to call every tic-tac foul in a game like this, but, I mean, a play like that, you can't let that one go just because it's a 44-point game.
The integrity of the game has to remain in place. It was a good counter play by Valley. It was successful. If they would have gained 5-6, not the 15 that they actually got.
Toss out to the wide side, handled by Giamfi. Giamfi hurdles a defender at the 30, gets up to the 27, and there's some extracurriculars after the play. Looks like
we got a flag on the play, too, here.
Yep.
This might be a nice make-up call here. And it's a holding against Valley.
Yep, so they'll back it up.
Jack Strand checking into the game to go play defensive end.
It is holding on Apple Valley, and that'll back him up, wiping out the gain by Giamfi.
I'm happy the game, obviously happy with the Hawks win. Happy with the 44-0 outcome, but I'm super happy for a lot of these seniors that go out and they practice every day in the cold. They're they do a lot of scout team work. They get beat up a little bit by the starters, and they're getting their chance to finally go out there and play. Effort won't be an issue coming into the fourth quarter for the Hawks.
6 minutes to go. Apple Valley gives to Giamfi. Wrapped up there at the line of scrimmage, though. Nice tackle by the Hawks.
Trevor Otter finishing
That is
it
Trevor
off,
Otter,
not allowing him to fall forward there. Nice play.
Mathers also will get credited for half a tackle, the senior.
Mathers has been playing a little bit more than usual. Like I said, tonight is a good job of him wrapping up, not allowing the running back to slip through, allowing Otter to go in and deliver a pretty big hit.
Update on Chaska quarterback Matthew Paul. For a few of you have a vested interest in that situation. He is on the bench with ice on his ankle. Will not return, I would assume. A lot of time for Apple Valley to get this one away, and Schilling, with all the time in the world, can't complete, so it's 3rd and long for Apple Valley yet again from the 38-yard line.
Yeah, Schilling just couldn't find anyone downfield. He had quite a bit of time. He rolled out to the left, just wasn't able to locate any wide receivers, so he did the smart thing and throw it away. In this game, I'm probably getting aggressive and trying to find a hole and fit it through. But he's a little smarter than I was.
Just under 5 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Nice little shout out for your parents there, Ryan. JP and Megan do a great job running the touchdown club. Without them, this wouldn't be possible.
Touchdown Club as a whole appreciates everybody's support. I know funding for this broadcast mostly appreciative of our sponsors who are always able to provide great support for our Hawks football program. Heartbreakers provided a great meal for the Hawks last night, I know, as a pregame meal. I know they enjoyed that. We do want to remind you, though, if you are enjoying your coverage that you've seen so far this year of Hawks football, we would encourage you to go to chaskahawksfootball.com and make a contribution to the Chaska Touchdown Club. Those proceeds, 100% back to the Chaska Hawks football program. And if you're looking for more information about Watch CHBN, what we've done here at the Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network, you can learn more information about that at watchchbn.com. Incomplete pass on 4th down.
Throw just a little bit too strong for Hester. He had him open. He just threw a little bit behind him. I will say the spaghetti dinners that I mocked earlier on in the season, they were fantastic. Yep. I loved them. The moms all put in great effort. Thank you very much.
Haven't had the luxury of those this year. Brings up a good transition to Five Guys. We'd like to thank Ryan DeSalt and all the people at Five Guys, located at Flying Cloud Drive and Eden Prairie Center Drive in Eden Prairie. Five Guys provides their great handcrafted burgers and fries to help feed our players. I know they had that meal earlier in the season, and they loved that. Next time you're hungry, stop in to Five Guys in EP.
Sanders and Nash in the backfield here as the Hawks take over.
Miscommunication in the backfield. Somebody turned the wrong way. Nash went off the right shoulder of Sanders, and Sanders tried to hand off to the left, but there was nobody there, so the broken play ends up in a loss of 2. Unrestricted Marketing, also a huge supporter of Chaska Hawks football. Mike Boyle works tirelessly with his team at Unrestricted Marketing, whether it's developing a brand strategy, creating digital content, or designing and managing promotional apparel. Unrestricted Marketing will deliver an unparalleled, unabashed, and unbelievable experience. Go to unrestrictedmktg.com. I know the game program that you can access at chaskahawksfootball.com is done by Mike Boyle and the team at Unrestricted, and they do a great job.
Good hard run there. Not a lot of room. Let's see who it was when he gets off the bottom of the pile. Nash was the lead blocker there.
.337 to go regulation. Chaska currently shutting out Apple Valley, looking to hand Apple Valley their 4th shutout of the season. Handoff up the middle. Nash barrels through the line. Gain of a couple. Brings up 4th down.
It looks like Nash was the up back there again, and it was number 20.
Ben Sampson,
the
carrier, yep. Hawks trot out the punting unit. 4th and 8.
Yeah, as a coach right now, I'm probably holding my breath. You do have a lot of starters out there on that punt team. A lot of guys have been sitting out for a few minutes here. They might be a little cold. Let's just make sure we get this off clean and everyone stays healthy.
Some late substitutions into the ball game. Chaska gets the punt away. That's Kemp. Punt is short, takes a bounce at the 45, where it's downed at the 42. And Chaska gives the ball back to the Eagles.
Smart play
with 1:26 left.
Smart play by Brandon Westover there, picking that ball up. Spencer gets touched it down. In high school football, once it's touched, the offense can pick it up and advance it, and if anything bad happens, the ball would be placed back to where the ball was initially touched. So good play there by the senior Westover to pick up that ball, make sure Valley can't advance it at all.
So just under a minute and a half left here in regulation. Chaska's going to walk away with a victory, and with one regular season game left, they move up in the standings of Section 2-5A, which after next week becomes critically important. You heard John Summers say QRF not a factor this year in seeding for section play. Apple Valley going to run the ball here with 1:22 to go. Hawks defense stands strong, gain of 3.
I want to see one more pass and a Jack Cox interception here. I'd love to see that.
Jack Cox, a guy who, he was an awesome football player through youth football. Both you and I watched him for several years just dominate both sides of the ball in youth football.
Yeah, he was electric. I mean, he's one of the even now, he's still one of the fastest guys on this team. Like I said, the only reason he's not being utilized more often is just due to the talent on the backside. Yep. He's a little bit undersized, but he's got all the heart in the world.
Miscommunication in the backfield once again. Handoff up to midfield. It'll be 3rd and 3 for Apple Valley coming up. 38 seconds left. Well, I doubt they'll run another play.
Nice play there by Mitchell Heimer to wrap up and get the tackle.
So Chaska will move to 3-2 on the season, breaking that 2-game stretch of losses. And the Hawks absolutely obliterating Apple Valley here on a beautiful November evening. 15 ticks left. Looks like Apple Valley might try to get one more playoff. 7-6-5. They will run a play. Quarterback and running back run into each other in the backfield. It's Spencer Staves who goes nowhere, and the horn sounds.
Great tackle there by Brandon Seward to finish off the Hawks regulation home game.
And that's it for Chaska and Apple Valley tonight. It's a home victory here for the Hawks in their last regular season home game. And Chaska dominates Apple Valley to a 44-0 final here. Next week we will travel to Bloomington, BEC TV, with coverage of that game. We will link that at watchchbn.com. Also should be able to watch at Community TV 14 for those of you watching on Comcast. We will keep you posted. Go to ChaskaHawksFootball.com for more information about the Chaska Hawks program. Also follow on Twitter at Chaska TD Club for more information about the Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network. Go to WatchCHBN.com. Mike, your final thoughts before we sign off tonight.
We got what we expected here. Big Hawks victory. Super happy for all the seniors here playing their last home game. I remember what that was like. Leaving with a 44-0 win, a statement win. They got to be happy. Saw them on the sideline smiling a little bit. Hopefully, I see Matthew Paul able to walk to go meet his team in the end zone right now. That's a good sign right off the bat because we're definitely going to need him going forward. Happy for the parents, too, to be able to come out here and watch. I know that this was all kind of in question. 2 months ago, nobody thought this was possible. Seeing all the parents and having a great time in the crowd, watching the seniors be successful in their final home game. Super proud of them.
We do want to thank Caliber Collision, located at 1324 Crystal Lane in Chaska, for their ongoing support of Hawks football. Visit calibercollision.com for a full menu of needs, of services and location. Mike, a dominating performance for the Hawks tonight. Next week at Bloomington Jefferson, we will keep you updated on everything Chaska Hawks football section playoffs 2 weeks away. And, it's an overall domination for the Hawks tonight. Save for Mike, York, and Xavier, I'm Ryan Paul with Mike Schmid signing off tonight from Chaska High School. A Chaska 44-0 win over Apple Valley. It's been a pleasure this year on the Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network for the first season of Hawks football on CHBN. Hope we see you again in playoffs. Have a good night, folks, and Soar Hawks.